everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Campaign Diary. It's been a crazy few weeks. So it's been a little bit since I've recorded one of these. But oh boy, did some crazy shit happen, guys. Some wild stuff happened. And I can't wait to share it with you all. I can't wait to talk about it. So without further ado, let's just get right on into it. Alright. So, session 9. We pick up right where we left off last time, where, remember we fought the dragon, and we almost died because Blake wasn't there. So everybody was here this session, though it was kind of sketch because Blake was on vacation. So Blake they they were on the Discord call, but they were muted, and so they only spoke to us through text chat in Roll20. So it was honestly, it worked really well. But it was also very janky. But we pick up right where we left off. So we take some time. I treat everybody's wounds. We found an egg in the nest. So we and John we found an egg in the dragon's nest, and Jan wanted it so badly. Rob was like, "Please, I will do anything for this egg." And we're like, "Yes, you can have the egg. It'll be a lot of responsibility, but you gotta make sure to feed and walk it." And he was like, "Yeah." And so we decided to leave it there for now, though, so we can come back to it later. And so we go around, and we there was the dragon room, and then there was the room across the hallway from the dragon room, which was filled with a humming noise. And so we go to investigate it, or no, not a humming, it was a ticking noise, right? And there's a construct. We go look, and there's a construct inside, and it's very old, 823 years old, empowering old, pre-empowering old, super advanced robotics, definitely made by humans, very powerful, could be a very good advantage to us, and it's fucking huge. It's one of the war robots, the combat droids. And we're like, "Oh, this is awesome. It's trying to kill us." And Kai has the realization. Kai is super smart and also can just recall knowledge for free on his turn because he's investigator. We can either overload the machine with electricity to deal massive damage to it, which we totally can because Skyfrog is pretty much built to be a storm wizard. So we could if we wanted to. Or we could get in melee with it and perform a disabled device check on it to turn it off temporarily. So essentially we have to succeed on a certain amount of disabled device checks to disable it. And we're all like, "Oh, we want to save this guy because we promised Unit 14 that we would save the androids." And so we compare everybody's disabled device check, which is a thievery skill check. Guess who's the only one proficient in thievery, guys? This guy right here. And so it was like, "Oh, Kai's doing it. Okay, cool." So I was rolling so poorly. I failed my first 2 checks on it, but succeeded on the next 2, succeeded on the third one, and then as I succeeded, we needed 4 to get it knocked out. As I succeeded on the fourth one, or the third one, this guy just fucking knocks me out. Now remember, think back. Kai is doomed 2, which means he dies at dying 2. He gets knocked out. Thankfully, it wasn't from a critical hit, so he only gets knocked out to dying 1. We're on the edge, though, guys. We're on the edge. So, Skyfrog, Kia get Kai up, and Kai, I fail my next attempt again. And then, we just managed to, disable the creature. We get a good check, and we disable it. We take 20 minutes to like sit down, refocus, rest, and we barely fucking heal anything. Like I rolled so poorly on my medicine checks. But we look around the room a little bit more, and we like, now that the construct isn't trying to like murder us, and I skipped over a lot of that fight. That was an intense fight. Like multiple of us almost died, Kai especially, and we're like, well, fuck, guys. And but now that the construct's not trying to kill us, we take a look around the room. Kia realizes that this is like a barracks. There's like 4 beds, 2 makeshift beds, and Kia like joins paths with the creature, with the construct, and realizes that like she's taken back to like memories of fighting and protecting people, and then like the agony of joining the creatures it was protecting the people from, of being corrupted and attacking the people it was sworn to protect. Which was very sad. Attached to this room, we go in to this other room. There's another doorway in this room. We go into it, and there's like cages. It looks like a prison, kind of. And each one, and like one of them is like filled with this gross creature, and then that wakes up and just begins screaming, just bloody murder, and we're like, fuck that, and we just leave. But before we leave, it projectile vomits onto Skyfrog, who becomes sickened. Luckily, since we're not in combat, it's not a huge deal because he just goes to a window and throws up. But not cool, little demon dude. So we go back to the main hallway. So on the right was the dragon room. On our left was the construct room. We go further down, and there's a room on the right. Which we assume is like a room that was connected to the dragon room. And we go inside, and we realize there's humming coming from the inside. And in the middle is a magic circle on this floor, with an altar in the middle of it, with this like crystal, this huge crystal hovering above it. And we realized, doing some checks and stuff on it, that it is called a preservation crystal. And that this is used when someone like was about to die, to make sure like they did not, and so it would buy time to get treatment ready. So essentially, like, somebody's about to die, okay, put them in this like essentially stasis chamber, this stasis crystal, and then 2 days later, when we're like not dying anymore, we can get them to a hospital and unstasis them, and the doctors are right there to treat them. Great, right? Well, we look inside, and there's a lizard folk man in there with a head, 1 arm, and about a third of a torso. Yeah, this guy ain't doing well. Why they put him in a crystal in the first place must have been very important. We also learned that inside of this room is filled with a bunch of +1 weapons, which were like, oh, awesome. We're doing a little bit more investigation of like the actual magic of this. Skyfrog realizes the circle is like a transmutation circle, and then Kia realizes that the circle is modified to transfer the power out of it. So not a portion of its power out. So not just like keep the power contained within the circle, but also project the power of the preservation crystal across the area, which makes sense because there were the entire like temple ruin that we're kind of in. It's old, right? It's like, it's definitely pre-empowering, but everything seems weirdly like not upkept, but like put together. Like, it isn't like dust. It's been 800 years. Most of this stuff should be like dust or like broken, but it's not, right? So that means there's some kind of preservation effect in the nearby area. And the last part of the session, we walk down the hallway. There's one more room that we have to check. Actually, well, there's technically technically there's 2 more rooms. There's a big set of doors at the end of the hallway, and then there's a door to the left. We kind of ignore the big set of doors, and we go to the door to the left. There is a room, and inside of it is an array of bird cages filled with hearts and bones, and the moment and there's a creature inside of it that destroys one of these cages, and the moment that the cage was destroyed, the heart begins to beat. And we noticed that like 6, I believe it was 6 of the cages so far had been broken, and this, I don't know how to describe how ugly and fucked up this demon looked, like where they got, if this was like the standard art for the demon, bravo to that artist, because I've never seen a demon that actually genuinely like horrified me to look at, and that was a picture for sure. We begin trying to fight it because we're like, oh, Kai realizes that these bird cages, right, are the same bird cages that or similar in design to the ones that Skyfrog built to house the angel heart that currently is beating inside of a bird cage that's not being used because the bird cage is, you know, like, the angel's kind of not dead, so it's kind of useless right now, right? But we know that that this is a demon, and they should be dead. Demons should also be dead, like angels. They have to like run off of extraplanar energy. They're cut off from their planes. So how this demon got here is a fucking problem, but a problem for a later time because we're about to die. So, the fight goes poorly. Jan, goes down in the fight, which is very scary when you're a barbarian. You're pretty much the only person with, like, any amount of hit points on your team goes down. Highly don't recommend it for sure. And when Jan went down, it was looking real bad. Like, I didn't have any more battle medicine because, like, right now I'll talk about Kai's build in another video, but like Kai has a lot of healing and he couldn't heal anymore. And but finally Skyfrog hit this really good baseball crit. A baseball crit. We've been waiting for Skyfrog to hit with his baseball all session, all like multiple sessions. He's never been able to hit with his baseball, but finally he did, and he crit the demon and he killed it, and it was awesome. And so what they do is they get the demon heart out of, like, Kai harvests the demon heart from the body because they have a working birdcage back at their area. So Kai grabs the demon heart, Jan grabs the construct's body, Kia grabs the Kai and Kia get the dragon egg, and then we all like, fuck this, fuck that last room. We're almost dead. We're out of spell slots. No more healing. We don't have time to deal with this. We need to head back. And so that's what we do, and that's where we ended the session. It was very exciting, very terrifying, because if Kai went down, Kai was really close to going down a second time, and if Kai went down a second time, wouldn't have been good. I think he had treated wounds at that point, so he didn't have the wounded condition anymore, but either way, like, it was not good. It was not good. But hopefully, you know, we won't almost die every fight. Yay. But on to the next one. Alright, session 10. Session 10 was very much like RP based, so it was a ton of RP, so no combat at all. But a lot of things happened. If there's one thing that I'm actually, like, I really like about Jamie's style of like DMing and GMing and stuff, is that the plot is always moving forward. Something important is always happening. Every session feels important. Missing a session, while not the end of the world, feels bad because you know something is gonna happen. Something to move the story along, right? And I really love that a lot because it ends up with sessions like this, which is like after combat, which you think like, oh, not much is gonna happen, things happen. So we're on our way to go back to our base, and we like head through the city to do this. And like as we're like going through the city, we see the city is a lot more active than usual, and that's like, well, like that's pretty strange. And I fucking nat 1'd my perception check, as I do on all the important rolls. But it's okay, because Jan got to see it. And Jan sees 2 boats docked. One looks like an elven boat, and the other one looks like a lizard folk boat. And Jan was like, fuck this shit, I'm out. As soon as he saw the lizard folk boat, Jan was like, I do not want to be there, and I do not want to go greet them. I believe in you guys. I'm going to go deal with the rune, and I'm going to take Embe and get some men, and we're going to go back and get the dragon's body so that we can come back and like harvest it and stuff like that. And it'll be a good time. Have fun with that. Have fun with dealing with that. But we all head back to the base first. And when we get back to the base, we hand the android, like the war android that we brought, to Unit 14. And Unit 14 tells us that he's almost finished unlocking level 1 of the basement, and that he just needs 10 jolts of electricity, like 10 units of electricity to jolt the system, which Kai's like, no problem, I got you, fam. Because Kai has a solar panel that he just built 2 or 3 sessions ago, something like that. I have a solar panel, is the main thing. So I have a way of producing electricity, and then Unit 14 said he had a battery somewhere. So, between all of that stuff, we can totally, like, do it. But that was just so low priority over, like, the rest of, like, what were happening. Unit 14 also tells us that Sir Diamond Eye ran out of the base an hour ago. Like, he said just ran, sprinted. And we're like, that is not good. So Kia and Kai go, like, change their clothes because they're like, well, fuck, we have to act like diplomatic envoys now. And meanwhile, Jan and Skyfrog head back to the ruins with some men to go, like, get the dragon's body. As an addition, Session 10, Skyfrog wasn't there, Timo wasn't there. He had finals for his classes this week. So we kind of avoided trying to include Skyfrog in things. So, like, that's how we caught Skyfrog out of the diplomatic envoy business. So we start with the people, like Jan and Skyfrog, who head back to the ruins, to go get the dragon's body. We did a quick thing there, because when they got back there, the front door to the ruins is open. We closed it on our way out. Who opened it? The dragon's still there, just still not moving. So Jan drags it out. And they leave a few men there to, like, watch over the place to make sure nobody goes in and out. And they, bring it back to the city. Meanwhile, Kai and Kia go to the boats, goes to the docks. They see, there's an elven delegation there and a lizard folk delegation. The elven delegation has a lot of people. But in the lizard delegation has 3, including Thule, who's there with clothes and shoes now. So that's pretty cool. And Thule is having a staring contest with our boy Toodle. He's back, baby. You might remember Toodle as the elven noble to whom Jan ingratiated himself by beating him in an arm wrestling competition, which was very cool for us. So now Toodle likes us a lot. Toodle and Thule do not seem to like each other because they're angrily staring at each other. That's not good. But also part of the lizard folk delegation is a young female lizard folk in, like, warrior's clothing, and this, like, older dude. Meanwhile, the elven delegation, like I said, huge, has a bunch of elven priests and Toodle. Some of them look like normal priests. Some of them look like inquisitors, like kind of armed with armaments and stuff like that. And Kia casts a spell called Read the Air, which is, from what I remember, and I'll like put it on screen if I can find it. Read the Air is all about like understanding like what the emotional situation's like and like remembering past stuff about certain people. Kia remembers that despite being jacked, and remember Toodle jacked, is Toodle's a priest, actually. I didn't know that actually until Jamie said it this session. There's also some among the priests, there's some exorcists there, as well as an inquisitor. The lizard folk are from Yon's tribe, and the elder is a person known as Para the Elder. And she, I don't know if it was through Read the Air or if it was through a check, but she actually remembers that Para was blessed by an actual god and blessed with like the blessing of youth, and has been alive since before the empowering, about like 200 years before the empowering. So this dude is like over 1,000 years old. He's at least 1,023. So man's old. Lizard's old. So we talked to we talked to Sir Dimedai, who's just appears behind us. Sir Dimedai has organized lodging for everybody, and we talked to Toodle at first and about the whole issue, about like the whole like, oh yeah, I got an angel in my brain thing, and Toodle's like, you don't have an angel in your brain? That's wild. As soon as I heard what was going on, I brought my people here to destroy the thing impersonating an angel of the gardener, because that is heretical. You wouldn't be alive if you had an angel in your brain. You would be dead by now, so you definitely don't have an angel in your brain. And Kai was like, I don't think you understand, bro. I have an angel. I have evidence. I'll show you it later, but I have evidence. And Toodle's like, nah, bro. You definitely don't have an angel in your brain. And Kai was just like, whatever. Sir Diamond, I take him to the lodgings. And he takes the elven people into town. And we go to speak with the lizard folk, which was a more, enlightening conversation. We learn that the woman is called Rissa, who brings justice, and is the daughter of Yon's examiner, which they didn't explain what it was at the time, and so like that's like all the information we got during that conversation about that. And Para's here because he heard about runes on the island related to their culture, like Thule said word about that. And that's why he's here. But Rissa is here to kill Yon in combat. Joy. Remember, I don't know if you remember this flashback to Thule, and we saved Thule, and Thule was like, if you didn't save my life, I would kill you right now. And Yon didn't want to talk to him and stuff like that. Rissa's like, I'm here to kill Yon, because I'm the daughter of his examiner, and I'm gonna get justice on Yon. And we're like, we don't know what that means, but Yon's not this terrible person like you think he is. And so we're like, okay, still, while you're here on the island, we expect you to like adhere to we ask that you respect our people here, including Yon. So we ask that you call him by the name he wants to be called, which is Yon. And Para actually like calls Yon instead of like the coward, because that's like all the lizard folk. That's like the name that he was given, right? He was called the Coward. And when Para calls him Yawn instead of the Coward, like Thule and Rissa both cringe, and Rissa just like leaves after that, just heads back to the boat. But Kai continues talking with them. Para seems pretty nice. Kai tells him about the ruins they were in recently. By recently, I mean like literally 2 hours ago. And as like Kai is talking to him, he gives off this aura of like a harmless old man, like this like just little old dude, right? But as Kai describes this preservation crystal and telling about the crystal room and about like the lizard folk in it, he for an instant, he gives off the aura of this hardened warrior. But then it goes away. And Kai's like, that's sus as hell, bro. But Para's still really nice, and he's willing to offer us aid in getting the lizard folk out, because he's like, oh, it's probably one of my descendants, so I'll help him out. Now, if you remember, Kai remembered some things about the symbol that, like, Skyfrog described to them, that he saw on the temple and stuff like that, and that Kai was like, yeah, that's the symbol of a goddess who people don't name because people hate her, and nobody worships her because she's taboo, and that's bad, guys. And that's a temple of that same for that goddess. And Para's just like, that's my descendant. What you into, Para? What's you into? Here's my conspiracy theory. A little bit side tangent, because oh my god, we're already 14 minutes. It's fine. A little side tangent. I think conspiracy theory. Para, a worshiper of this goddess, may know Skyfrog. We don't know because Timo wasn't there that session. But I think this dude may know Skyfrog because he was alive before the empowering. That's my theory right now, though. We'll find out later, though. So Kai gives him a tour around town, and like right before and then takes him back to the boat and stuff like that. And like right as like we finish up, Dawn arrives back in town and heads over to the tavern to find Toodle drinking with this like random priest, and Dawn joins him, and they're having a good time. We talked to Toodle a little bit, and Toodle doesn't, and like Jan's talking to Toodle, and Toodle like does not believe that it's an angel, and also he doesn't want us to call it an angel for some reason. So we're like, that's sus as hell. But fine. Back to Para and Kai and Kia. Para is going to go explore the ruins that we talked about tomorrow with Thule. And also mentions he wants to adjudicate the match between Rissa and Jan, so that way he can make sure that it's all honor bound and all that good stuff. And then he also explains like the naming system for lizard folk, or like lizard folk in Jan's tribe, where they have like a name system of like called names and calling names. Called names are permanent, and calling names are like fluid and like ever changing. But like that different tribes don't share their cultures, and so it's not like a universal thing across like lizard folk, but that's like what they do. And so Jan's called name is Jan the Coward, which I don't like that one bit. Jan's so nice, and also Jan's not a coward. It's a terrible name. It's a terrible permanent name. Terrible name. But I guess it makes sense, because we'll get to that in a second. So we head back to the tavern, meet up with Toodle and Jan, and then Kai's like, I need to talk to you in private, Toodle. I need you to like, I have to show you some things. And so they all head back to the base. Toodle just like sobers up. He just like magics himself back to sober, which is really cool. Kai shows him the heart, who has like a tentacle growing out of it. That's really creepy. And then Toodle tells us about how there's like some factions within the Church of the Gardener who would want the angel to be kept alive even if it was corrupted, even if it meant Kai's death. And he warns us to not call it an angel. He's like, you should not be calling it an angel. That is bad for you. They will like kidnap you. They will try to kill you. They'll try to like keep that angel alive inside of you. And they have to convince everybody else that it's not an angel. And they also we talk a little bit about like the process of getting the angel out of Kai's mind. And Toodle's like, yeah, they're gonna be entering your mind. Kai's like, I don't want them entering my mind and seeing that then. Can you be the representative that enters my mind? And Toodle was like, I got you, fam. And so it's gonna be us four plus Toodle entering Kai's mind to fight the angel, which is good for a lot of reasons that we won't go into right now. Toodle then leaves and stuff like that, and we're all pretty beaten up, and so Kai takes the time to begin healing everybody's wounds and stuff like that, because in Pathfinder you don't get all your hit points back on a long rest. You only get some of them, your level, I think it's your level times your con mod you get back, but either way it's not good. But while Kai's healing everybody, Jan tells, we asked Jan about Rissa and about the examiner and who they were, and Jan tells us that he killed Rissa's father by stabbing him in the back, and that's a very cowardly thing to do in lizard folk culture. And he tells us the full story, which is that as part of their coming of age in his tribe, you have to test your prowess against more expert warriors, and Jan is the youngest of his family, and as the youngest, Jan tried everything to get his parents and his siblings and his family's attention to try and make them proud. And when he had to do his coming of age test, he failed his test. He wasn't able to do it. And he looked at his family, and his family looked so disappointed in him, and that he just snapped, and he entered the first rage of his life. And in his rage, he stabbed his examiner in the back to show that he could do it, and it ended up killing him, and that's why he was banished from his tribe. And Kai was we all take this in, and Kai tells Jan hey, I know that's your name from your tribe, but you're part of our nation now. If you do not want to follow their rules anymore, you don't have to. But also if you want to have a name like that, I think a much better name for you would be Jan the Protector. And Jan kind of dismissed it. It was a cute moment. I really want Jan's name to be Jan the Protector, because that's what he is. Rob's always worried about protecting us, and Jan always comes up to us afterwards if one of us gets hurt and is I'm sorry I couldn't protect you. The man's so worried. I just want good things for Jan. I'm sorry, that was a little lot. Moving on, the next morning, Kai and Kia go to the elven priests who are setting up this ritual. And they're oh, it's gonna be a few days till it's ready. And so Kai and Kia start doing their method where they go talk to, Toodle, and they're like, yep, you were right. It's definitely not an angel. It's definitely a parasite, and we need to get rid of it from my brain. Anything that's impersonating an angel, the gardener, is absolutely terrible. You're right. This aligns better with parasites. And, we essentially just say that we talk really loudly about it in front of all the priests while we're talking to Toodle. But Kai also takes the opportunity to ask about, like, memory magic and, like, hey, can you, like, recover memories altered? This is in reference to, like, his dreams in which he sees the hooded figure, and Kai's trying to figure out, like, hey, what is this, like... what is this about? Like, I don't remember this. I think I'm missing something. Wow, who is this figure? And they talk about how it's like, it's very hard that there's two different kinds. There's like ones that are like instantaneous and the ones that are like over time. And Kai's is like an over time kind of thing. It was kind of complicated, but from what it sounded like, essentially, like, Kai would have a very hard time trying to solve his memory problems. And so, I don't know how to get them back now. Whoopsie-doopsie. But Kai pulls Toodle aside, is like, hey, can we go on a walk? And then while they're on the walk, Kai's just like, hey, Sir Diamond Eye, just to the air, and Sir Diamond Eye just appears, and he sends Sir Diamond Eye on a mission to go investigate the lizard folk quarters to see if they're worshipping the evil bad goddess that I mentioned earlier. And while Diamond Eye is on that adventure, so Kai knows where Sir Diamond Eye is, Kai tells Toodle almost everything, which is that, like, hey, yeah, I'm actually from the Albion Empire. I'm part of the royal family. I was a very high up noble there. He tells him about the memory thing. There's a lot to Kai, and Kai essentially tells all of it, and it's just like, tells like, or like the big gist of it, and just like, this is why nobody else can go in my mind. And Toodle's like, oh yeah, you're right, that's fucking terrible, bro. And Kai does some like, I forget what it's called, sense motive or something like that, and he reads into like Toodle, and he realizes that like Toodle pretends to be stupid, so he doesn't have to do things. Like, he pretends to be stupid. He's not. He's very smart, but he pretends to be stupid. But he's also, like, not playing at everything. He hates politics. He just doesn't want to be involved with politics. He wants, like, simple, clear-cut things. He's a very smart, complex man who likes simple things. Which, honestly, respect. Meanwhile, so all this happens. Meanwhile, in the forest, Para and Thule go to the ruins and head straight to the crystal room, and Yon is following behind them. We sent some guards, like Mbe and some of the other mercenaries and stuff, with them to make sure they're okay, and also do a little bit of spying on them. But Yon is also following at quite a distance away. We don't know what happened in the room, because Yon wasn't in the room. But all we know is that a bunch of will saves needed to happen. Not good. Not good. And then, they just fucking come out. They just, all of them come out, and Yon sees them acting really weird. Like, Mbe's acting strange, and a few of the other people are acting strange. And Yon's like, what did you do, bro? And meanwhile, Paris just like, yo, this place is corrupted. We're gonna help this dude and then bounce. And Yon starts like jumping to a conclusion and asking questions, and then he hears Para speak in his mind, by the way, and is like, I can fix them later, don't act like you know. And so they begin walking back, and then Para and Thule like jump onto the odd guards, and they start pulling this like weird demon creep monkeys off of them, like the same demon monkeys as before. And essentially Para was like, yo, yeah, that place was infested with demons and fey creatures. And Jan runs back to check all the bird cages. And every single one of them has been opened. And he goes to the door to the north, like the big double doors, right? And he opens them, and he realizes that there's a lot of magical artifacts in here. And there's slots for them. There's 4 holders for artifacts, one of which was taken from one of the slots and placed elsewhere. The second artifact has been shattered. The third is there, and then the fourth is empty. And so Jan grabs, I think he grabs the one that was like placed elsewhere, which was like half on, half off, and it's like an orb that's like electric. It's like statically electric, and it exudes an aura of like calm and relaxation. But Jan just grabs it and just books it, hoping to bring it back to like Skyfrog so he can examine it. And that was the end of the session. A lot of things happened. A lot of things happened. We're heading a half hour, so I'm gonna wrap this up real quick. I have so many thoughts, so many things, very exciting. Next session, we're heading into Jan and Risa are gonna be doing their fight to the death. So I hope that ends well. And then we're gonna be entering Kai's mind, which, according to my DM, will, and I quote, I'll put the Discord message up here, will answer no questions, will have no mysteries, and won't expose any secrets. So, looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to talking about it with you guys. So, I'll talk to you guys later. I hope you have fun, and I hope you enjoyed the story so far. Peace.